I've traveled to around 40 plus countries. My team has traveled to 70 odd countries. Our primarily job is to go meet business houses because we concentrate more on banks. So we do 70% business with banks, right? We meet partners, we meet business houses, we meet banks, and our job is to see that how do we find different ways of, in one way, selling our solution and learning from them that what is it that we can do and take to other parts of the world, including India. So we started coming to Nepal, I think somewhere in 2011 or 10, we first came from Newgen to come and meet people out here. And we kept coming. So initially, so whenever we go to a new country first time, so we go once in 6 months or once in a year, we go do a recce, come back, write down what the status is. We come back again, write a recce, write down what we think where the status is. So initially when we came, there was no hope that anything will happen soon, so we kept coming, right? And we kept talking to people, we kept meeting people. And then first time when, a few years back, when they said that the people are picking up much faster than what we thought maybe we have a scope here. And that's when we started working more seriously. We started doing more workshops to give you a feel what these solutions can do, right? Now, our experience is globally, doesn't matter where you go. Even in the most advanced countries, the so-called US and Canada and Western European countries of the world, many of them do not have many solutions which maybe some of the banks out here have, even though we have sold it to only 3 banks. So what I basically mean is that there is an assumption many people have. We are here to tell you that you have leapfrogged from that, so you have not gone through the rush. Like for example, in India when the automation happened, India did not go for the mainframes. So we did not go by the same cycle as everyone else got. So the advantage we had is, we skipped the mainframes and we went into the server environment. So when we started running, we were running much faster than what the competition was running. And that was one very good reason that we could catch up and beat others in the IT business globally, right? Because we did not go through the complete rut again. Now if you see, Newgen started somewhere in 1992. In 1992 when we started, we first did a project for a company by the name, a Japanese company which is into imaging and other things. It's one of the big organizations. So they gave us a job that can you do an R&D work of a solution and don't sell it in your name. You will do the R&D work, give it to us and we will sell it. They were offering very good money, so we started from there. The second thing which we did is, that's when the voters ID card thing came up. And we realized that there is a good way of making money because we were not really very sure what kind of products do we want to sell. We just knew we want to do something in the world of imaging. So when it came to voters ID card business, we realized some of the organizations were losing money when they went for the voters ID card. So we said we will use technology to do the same job, right? And we used our imaging technology to capture images, to process them and move them faster. We made good money out of that. The moment we started making money out of it, we started spending on infrastructure. We started spending on other aspects of business. And from there to now, we took 25 years to reach 100 crores, and then we took 12 years to reach 1,000 crores. So we started galloping after the first 25 years. We learned the ways of doing business, we learned the ways of doing business in global market, and we learned how to go ahead and do things faster and better. And the one thing which we learned in the process is, it is not always about the tool. It is about hand-holding and ensuring that you do the right kind of project implementation with your partners. Now in some cases, the bank becomes a partner. Some cases you have a local partner with whom you work and then you have a bank as a partner and you have a combined way of doing it. What we realized is that gives you much better result than just trying to behave like a salesperson and sell something and walk out. Well, I have also written a book, by the way, by the name Selling is Not Cheating. So what that basically book says is that if you don't cheat, you might lose money in the initial phase, but in the long run, you will win. Because relationships which you establish are cemented. It's extremely difficult for beating. So when IBM came into Indian market to sell products, or when Oracle came with the Safe Fusion to sell products in the Indian market, they could not beat us. We still remain the number 1 in ECM market, in the Indian market, even against fierce competition from the West. So the whole story is that it is not just about any tool. Tool you can buy from anyone. There are multiple tools which are available and you can have many fancy looking tools, many not so fancy looking tools. What is needed is how do you go about implementing the project, how good you are in learning it, how good you are in actually implementing the whole solution. So we started the concept some 11 years back. So I worked with IBM, and it was brought into Newgen with this idea that how about bringing the best practices of IBM into Newgen from channel perspective, so that we can have local people in different parts of the world who can work with us and then work with the respective businesses. So here we had CAS, we had identified CAS as a partner, we started working with them, we scaled them, and we started this journey. So this is how we came up and we started. So the first project which we did in the banking industry was with Citibank. Citibank in India had a strange problem. The problem they had is that the Indian government has said you can only open 2 offices. Pick 2 cities. You can only open in 2 cities, you cannot open in anywhere else, right? Now, so what Citibank did, they opened an office in Mumbai, they opened an office in Delhi, but they realized that if they want to do more business, they have to go to the B cities also. Now, legally they were not allowed. So what they did, they came to us and they said, can we have a solution wherein by using the solution, I can provide the same facility which I provide in a central place, at least for some of the business lines, and can I grow my business? So their challenge was, if someone walks into a Citibank office in Delhi, the person can be told in 2 hours flat whether he is eligible to get loan or not. He can get a loan within 5 days. Now that was the time when generally in India, a bank used to take more than a month to give loan. They used to take more than 3 to 4 days to tell the customer whether he is eligible to get loan or not. Now they worked this out. When they worked out the system, we created a system wherein if someone walks into the Jaipur office, right, which is few hundred kilometers away, if someone comes to the Jaipur office and if he says, I need loan, he will just fill a standard form, he scans it, he need not to know anything about the processing part. Because all the expensive people used to sit in Delhi or Bombay office. It will come there and it will move as if he has come to the front office of the same office. So in 2 hours time, they started saying to the customer that whether he is eligible to get loan or not. Right? Now this changed the business, the way people were doing business there. This changed the way Citibank started doing business. Now it helped Citibank, so what they did, they told us, can you do this with us in some other countries? We took the next country, which was Algeria. In those days, Algeria had a serious problem. So generally Americans were afraid of going to Algeria. So they said, we will process banking things in Algeria, but we'll do everything sitting in London office. So how do you do it? We followed the same method. That the way we said from Delhi to Jaipur, we followed the same method from London to Algeria. Now Citibank was giving loans in Algeria without having their own presence in Algeria. But they were following the complete banking process of doing that. Now that's when that started working. That took us to 29 different countries and we started working globally to sell that kind of a solution. So initially we started with Citibank and from Citibank we moved to the next other countries. Now if you see what we did within this, we realized that our strength is technology area of imaging. So what we did is we said, let's have the ECM or a BPM thing and mix it with imaging and become a global leader. Because that's what the others were not offering. The other competition, the global leaders were offering either a ECM solution or a BPM solution. But what happens if the work moves along with it? What that basically means is that if someone wants to process a loan, there's a loan document which has to move. In most countries in the world, in many countries around, even now, the paper document is still important, including India. You got to sign the paper document in the end, right? So what happens is that image has to move. Now, the moment the image starts moving, it starts choking your bandwidth. The moment it starts choking your bandwidth, your whole process becomes slow. The second problem which you have, there are places where you don't have the network which is very good. So when you send that image from a faraway place, it will not reach in time. The third problem which you have, what happens if it starts getting hacked? So that compared to the developing countries, we had less of this as a problem, but in the developed world, hacking in a banking system was a major problem, which is still a major problem, right? So you do all kinds of protection to ensure that someone should not hack your server and get into your server. So we worked on all these aspects and said, let's have solutions which will take care of these issues. And that's how we started working on the technology area. So now today, we are some 3,800 man strong team. We have offices in multiple cities in India. We have offices in US, in UAE, in Singapore, and in UK, and many other countries. So the journey had been that we learned that there are certain things where the investment has to be continuous, which basically means you develop a product once. Many people have this feeling. If you develop a product once, then you can keep selling it. No, it doesn't work like that. There is a 600-man team which works on the products. Not every product becomes successful, right? So as per Harvard Business Review, 75% of the products which hit the market actually fail. Only 25% of the products succeed. Now there is a huge investment which you do. The whole aim is, from some you may not make money, but you may learn something, and from some you will make money. Hence, we need to understand the 600-man team which works. They primarily have a small R&D team. They have a small team which works on imaging. There's a small team which keeps interacting with customers to know where they are going wrong. And there is another team which keeps looking at the international new products which are coming up. So there's a small team which buys those products internationally, tries to work on it and check what is it that they are offering which we can add. If not today, maybe tomorrow. Okay? What is it that may go wrong when you use that solution? Because what you will realize when you start using many of these tools is, many times they claim a lot of things, but in reality that may not be how it works, right? For example, this artificial intelligence thing. Newgen decided 4 years back that let's buy an artificial intelligence company. Instead of creating our own, let's buy them out and let's use that technology in solving banking issues plus the other normal issues. When we bought the organization and we started working on it, we realized that the hype is too much. So the hype is much more than what the reality is. Yes, it does a lot of things. There's no doubt about it. But then there are too many things which people talk about. But when you really want to